Hey, yeah, it's worth under time. So, if you watched my somewhat recent video on what I think about the Russian aircraft, you'll note I said some rather mean things about them. I said they weren't very good planes, but they're very good. Words are difficult sometimes. They're very bad planes with very good guns. They're at the best they're mediocre. They're far too slow. Some of them do climb pretty well, but they're not fast enough to use their altitude advantage effectively, and they can't turn for crap. They're rather poor planes in most regards. All of that ends when you get to the Yak-9. The Yak-9 does have a slight problem. It's not really a problem as much as just a me personal kind of thing, but it only has one Shavak's 20mm cannon, and it has two 50s that are as useless as 50s always are in arcade. But it has one 20mm cannon, and it's the same one 20mm cannon that the Lag-3 gets at Tier 1. Which means firepower-wise, it's actually not the best, but it does have a 20mm Shavak's cannon, and those are pretty good cannons, and one of them might not be the best armament any plane ever had, but I mean, it works. It's better than the American 50 caliber armed planes. Even though it's still not as good as the Law 5, which you are going to have a little bit of problem with its armament if you're used to the multi-20mm cannon armed aircraft. But it does have some really great features to back up its not particularly impressive weapons. Again, it's good weapons overall. It's good weapons compared to other nations. It's just not very good compared to the other Russian aircraft. It does get something really cool though. That 109F is going to be a problem. I can't deal with you right now, buddy. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to switch to the 109, as the 109 is actually a proper threat. If I can find him. There he is. But this plane, it turns shockingly well. It's not a Spitfire, but it... Bloody hell, I suck. Yep. Alright, so he really wants to turn fight me. I might not be a Spitfire. Go away. Where'd the other guy go? Oh, that is the other guy. Wow. So this guy does vaguely know what he's doing, but... Oh, there are two of them. I can outrun either of them, I'm pretty sure. I am a 400 and a bit mile per hour plane. But I'm confident in myself. The eagle eye viewer will note I'm basically just holding myself in a horizontal turn and watching the heavy fighters struggle to get shots on me. I'm not exactly being unpredictable, but you don't need to be unpredictable when you turn this well. Oh, see that guy's switching up? Oh, they both did. They've both gone into two-circle flow now. That emphasizes turn time over turn radius. And their turn times aren't that bad, but this guy got right back in the circle with me. I'm not sure where the other guy went. There's a fighter coming up with me, though. I'm basically just playing with them, to be honest. Which I really shouldn't be doing. I also shouldn't be giving them altitude. See what as I'm going down like this, I'm building speed and I'm losing altitude. I'm making other fighters become a bigger threat to us. On both sides, but we're in the middle. We're right in the middle, and there's an enemy fighter somewhere nearby. This... Let's turn this into a bit of an energy fight. My climb rate's not that bad. Really like that aero cover to leave us alone, though. Here we go. Alright. I knew that was the right thing to do. And that was the wrong thing to do there, buddy. Alright, this isn't gonna work. See if I can outrun him. There's that one is right on top of me wherever he went. Oh, there he is. Should be able to outrun him though. As I said, I am a 400 mile per hour plane and they aren't quite. There we go. Just wiggle around a little, not too much. They damaged my engine, which sucks, but yeah, I'll deal with it. We're just going one-on-one. Where am I going? I'm not going towards my base. Alright, there we go. The Yak-9 is fast enough to outrun Thunderbolts at low altitude. I know that for a fact. That's one of the reasons I hate this plane, because it's the first Russian aircraft that can rival the Americans for speed, at least at low altitude. Yak-9's not fast enough to catch me. I'd like to not crash into a mountain, though. Let's go up and over. So where's my airbase? I'm gonna have to go back and land. My engine is not looking good. But yeah, this plane, I know I just flew for that long without getting a single kill, but that was all on me. I had plenty of opportunities. My accuracy just isn't there today. So this became a rather boring video rather quickly. Yeah, my engine doesn't look that damaged, but an air or a liquid-cooled engine like this being damaged at all is usually a death sentence if you don't go back to base. Where's my base? Base off to my right. I'm not a very good navigator, okay? Oh, this plane though, it is properly quick. Combined with being a solid turn fighter, it's not a turn fighter dedicated. It's not the kind of plane that can throw itself into a turn fight whenever with whatever. It definitely can't outturn Spitfires or Zeros. But for a tier 3 plane that's as fast as it is, it can outrun Spitfires pretty easily. Not by a lot, but it can. And that combined with being able to outturn many aircraft it comes up against. Basically, it can catch up to Thunderbolts at low altitude and then easily outturn them into Thunderbolt. It can also catch up with and outturn Airacobras. And that's a really cool situation to be in, to be faster than someone and be able to outturn them. It's a really cool combination to have both of those advantages. To have the two major advantages, to just have both of them locked down. Oh. I'm not a good shot. I should probably go get my real mouse. And what I'm doing right now, doing a vertical maneuver like I just did, this plane's one... The one major disadvantage this plane has is that it doesn't do vertical turns very well. And Airacobra is not as bad at turning aircraft as people often think. Doesn't matter. This plane's just better. Also doesn't matter when they're outnumbered as heavily as that guy was. I can catch up to a Yak-9 pretty easy, but he just came out of a dive and I just came out of a hard turn. But notice I was turning really hard and aggressively. I still have 300 miles per hour. Yeah, this plane's energy retention, it's not 109 levels of ridiculous, but it's pretty good. Gonna have to kill off some of these guys before I try and land. Come on, learn to aim. Oh, ow. There we go, I got one. I'm proud of myself. There's one thing I haven't tried to do with it yet, though. I haven't tried to land it once yet. So let's see how she lands. It's a fast plane, and fast aircraft do have a tendency not to land terribly easily because it's hard to bleed off their speed. I am pleased to note that dropping the landing gear and the landing flaps does seem to kill your speed pretty quickly, which is good. Makes landing about a third as difficult as it usually is. Still quite a lot more speed than I'd like to have, though. This is definitely an army plane. It's not a carrier fighter, so it's not going to be landing under 100 miles per hour. Oh, how's it going? Ow. Quick, bail! Bail! Oh, he gave me a poke. I don't have to pay the full repair costs, though, because he didn't kill the plane. He just put a tiny little hole in the side of it. When you land on base and you bail out, whatever state your aircraft is in when you bail out is the state that it considers it to be in. And because my plane wasn't destroyed, it's not going to cost me anywhere near as much as it would have had I have been destroyed. Which is nice. I'm having ridiculously nice matchmaking this game, too. Other than the Law 5s, there's pretty much nothing flying that's even remotely threatening, and even the Law 5s aren't that bad as long as they're stupid enough to try and turn with you. Oh, I'm in the anti-bomber plane, and look what I just spotted. A bunch of bombers. Bum bum. Bum bum. Da-da-da. Da-da-da. I'ma get ya. I'ma get ya. A-20s are annoyingly maneuverable aircraft. Just enough that they can do crap like that when you're coming in too fast. Also a lot tougher than I remember them being. Oh! That was not an ideal situation to get myself into. But it's alright, he didn't exploit it. This thing is such a fucking bastard. Doesn't make it a good plane though. I mean, that guy was dead. It was just a matter of who's gonna get the kill. Vertical! Who doesn't love going vertical in planes that aren't good at going vertical? Hey, I made it! This poor guy in his Yak-9, this plane isn't the kind of plane that you'd want to be going 10-on-1 with someone. You either want to be very fast or a very good turning aircraft, he's neither. Can I steal it? Where do you guys keep coming from? This is our base. Oh, am I gonna shoot one of my allies here? I hope not. So anyway, I still don't like this plane. I don't care how funny it is. If you want humor, then fly the Kai, the 102. That plane, it always ends funny whenever that thing flies out. Such a dumb plane. But yeah, all the things I hate about the Russian aircraft, them not turning very well and them not being very fast. When you get the Yak-9, everything is better instantly. It's just, it's wonderful. I cannot over-recommend the Yak-9. And the Yak-3P, the one immediately after it, it's almost like somebody looked at the Yak-9 and went, you know, the only thing this thing's missing is a bunch of extra cannons. And then they stuck a bunch of extra cannons on it, and everything was better. It makes it so easy, this plane. When you get an easy shot at an easy target, that easy target just dies. So are we losing? How are we losing? Come on, I'm massacring over here. So I guess this is another MiG-9 review, or another Yak-9 review. It wasn't supposed to be. Oh, this is not a fast plane. The Yak-9, after hard maneuvering at low altitude, I was still doing 300 miles per hour. This thing, it has to struggle and dive a little bit to get up to 300. I'm even in a dive. There we go, there's 290. I very rarely dropped under 290 while flying the Yak-9. This thing just barely gets there. And then we level off, and it's going to start slowing down. Well, I am climbing. It's not slowing down, so it's not that slow. It's just definitely not fast. Come on, buddy. He's going after the other MiG-3. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. Let's have a proper fight. A proper 2-on-1. This is in no way unfair. Oh wow. MiG-3 looks like he won. Unfortunately I have the altitude advantage, so. Oh, look at him. Look, isn't he cute trying to climb up underneath me? This is the point where I have to guess when he stalls, and I think he either just stalled or he pulled off. Either way. Am I going to be able to make this shot? Of course not. Oh my god, wow. Wow, it's almost like I aimed for it. Alright, well, you know, we can't all be good pilots. Oh, that was embarrassing. So, the 185, has a good climb rate, doesn't turn terribly well, rolls like a champ, but that's kind of useless if your pitch rate's garbage, which it is. It's very agile, which makes zoom and boom passes a little bit easier. But overall, it's not the monster people often say it is. It still doesn't have control force issues. It doesn't have control forces at high speed, which is a little unfair. But then just don't do high speed dives with them and you'll be fine. Unless you're in an American plane that can outdive them, in which case go for it. You don't have very aggressive control forces either. That's why the Mustang can do 20G pulls in arcade. But yeah, the Yak-3P, the one issue I have with the Yak-3, the only problem, the only reason this is not one of my favorite, well, it is one of my favorite planes in the game, as it is. The only reason it isn't my favorite plane in the game is because it only has 120mm. This Yak, despite the fact that it's painted bright red, which I'm not very happy about the paint scheme, but you can fix the paint scheme. Just slap some stupid or the American planes I fly, my bright yellow Aero Cobra, and I'm complaining about a red plane. But yeah, this one, the 50 caliber machine guns are replaced with 20mm. So it has 3 20mm cannons in the nose, and it turns acceptably well at the least. It has a decent rate of climb, and it's decently fast. It has no weakness, is what I'm saying. The Yak-3 has no weakness. It's not a very great plane in any way. There are plenty of planes that will outrun it, plenty of planes that will outturn it, and plenty of planes that will outclimb it, but there is no plane that will beat it in more than one way. 109s will outclimb you, but you outturn them, and you can pretty much match them in a zoom fight. A Law 5 will outclimb you, but you can outturn them and outrun them. Thunderbolts can outrun you, but you can outclimb them and you can outturn them. Aero Cobras are one of the only proper threats to you. They will outclimb you, and they will almost match you in a turn fight, but you can outturn them. And you will outrun them, but not by a lot. So you still have 2 advantages over them. For every advantage your enemy has over you, you have 2 advantages over them. So you just have to understand what those advantages are and leverage them. And this plane it has no weakness. There's no way the enemy can force you to give up your advantage, because if you give up your speed, that's fine. Your low speed agility is acceptable. And if they're in a plane that's really good at low speed, then they probably aren't going to be able to force you to low speed, because they can't maneuver well enough at high speed to do that. So, anyway, that's enough rambling. The Yak-3, great plane. It really is. If they had a Yak-3 with a 37mm cannon from this plane, that would be overpowered. This plane isn't overpowered because the Yak-9 is garbage. That cannon kills what performance it had, and it ends up being this lump of crap that can barely do anything. This plane it's a good plane. There's a reason the Yak-3 is renowned as one of the best fighters of World War II as a whole, because it really is that good of a plane. It should not be tier 3. It and the Yak-9s should be switched, because it actually came. All right, anyway, that's a history lesson I'll give you later if you like. That was far more than enough. Yak-3, great plane, highly recommend it. Everything I hate about the Russians is fixed with it. I am going for the Yak-3P simply because it's such a great plane. When I very first unlocked the Yak-3, I started researching the Law 7, because the Law 7 is even faster. It's a proper zoom fighter, and I love zoom fighters. But I had so much fun with the Yak-3 after 2 games. That was 2 games worth of experience right there. After those 2 games, I was like, you know what? I want the one with more cannons. And so now I'm researching the second Yak-3. Even though I don't need it, I don't want it, I'm not going to grind any of the other Yaks. None of these interest me. My plan right now is to get these 3 Laws and maybe grind down to get the Illusion 10. And then wait for the Law 15 to come out and grind for the Law 15. Well, I'm not going to have the Law 9 by then. The Law 15 is going to be out for several months by the time I get it. But I'm going to get the Law 15, then I'm going to use the Law 15 to grind my way past the MiG-9s. Similarly to how I unlocked the Panther, and then I use the Panther to grind past the Shooting Star or the Saber. I'm going to do something similar with the Russians. hopefully the Law 15 is a good enough plane I can get away with that. If not, then I'm going to grind out the MiG-9s. I'm going to use MiG-9s and the Law 15 to get the MiG-15 because I would like the MiG-15 and I would like to have the Russian MiG-15. I don't really want to just grind down the Germans to get the German MiG-15. That just doesn't feel right. But if you want to do it, go for it. I don't care. Although I do want to grind up the Germans. They have some interesting aircraft, and none of which I would really want to fly, but the 262, well, that was, oh, goodness. I just won't shut up, will I? Yak-9, get it. Great plane. It really is. I would actually say get the Yak-9, what is it, it's a rank 4, rank 3.7. I'd say get the, well, if you already have the Yak-9T, and if you like the Yak-9T, then get it. I didn't get the Yak-9K. I just don't care. I don't like the Yak-9T enough to waste time getting a better version of it. I do like the Yak-3 enough to waste time getting a better version of it because it is, if it had more firepower, it would be perfect. And this one has more firepower. So it must be perfect. Or so I hope.